Welcome to Storybound, where we are diving into the world of First Law by Mr. Grimdark himself, Joe Abercrombi. This will be spoiler-free, with the exception of minor explanations of the history leading up to the current timeline, although I will be leaving out key points to avoid spoilers. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Also, please check out all the amazing artists linked in the description. I tried making link cards for the video, but I'm not partnered, so please check out their stuff. It's honestly amazing, and this video wouldn't be possible without it. Let's dive into this. For this video, we're going to introduce you to the setting of the First Law. The First Law series is set in an epic fantasy world called Circle of the World. It is comparable to something like medieval Europe. Its ecology is much like our own, with some fantasy classics littered within. Much like medieval Europe, it is dark and grimy, littered with cultural and class warfare, strife, and is a post-war society. Each location we visit shares some of this level of effect, of these conflicts that seemingly have always plagued the Circle of the World. Tonally, First Law is considered to be grimdark. I feel like there is some debate in the community about what grimdark is, so let's talk about grimdark for a moment. Several attempts to define grimdark are as follows: where nobody is honorable and might is right, and as the standard way of referring to fantasies that turn their backs on the more uplifting, pre-Raphaelite versions of idealized medievalania, and instead stresses how nasty, brutish, short, and dark life back then really was. Adam Roberts also noted that grimdark has little to do with reimagining an actual historic reality and more with conveying the sense that our world is cynical, delusioned, and an ultra-violent place. Liz Burke quoted, "A retreat into the valorization of darkness for darkness's sake, into a kind of nihilism that portrays right action as either impossible or futile." There's a bit of a mouthful here. However, a really great one specifically for First Law is, the story follows the fortunes and misfortunes of bad people who do the right thing, good people who do the wrong thing, stupid people who do the stupid thing, and, well, pretty much any combination of the above. Survival is no mean feat, and at the end of the day, dumb luck might be more of an asset than any amount of planning, skill, or noble intention. So, at least for me, this series sits comfortably in grimdark. This is a fairly large cast of morally great characters where nothing good ever happens. It paints a very vibrant picture, which at times can be fairly horrific. I really enjoy the pacing and character work in this series, and Joe Abercrombi takes his time and will sit in scenes. He expertly spends just the right amount of time in these long scenes, and through his writing is able to give power, weight, and momentum to scenes that would normally be considered mundane. This momentum is always there. I feel like this book has this constant push that is ever-looming presence that makes scenes just work for both tone and character. Character moments are paramount in this series, and the motion of the underlying plot threads take time to unveil themselves in a wonderful character piece. Each character is thoughtfully crafted, and you will intimately get to know most of them. As stated in my First Law review, Joe takes advantage of multiple POVs, and we get very detailed descriptions and character studies of each character from various point of views. This is done in a really great way, and I love really getting to know what characters think of each other on this type of intimate level. Our main cast through the series hail from war vets, captives, rebels, mercenaries, royals, and slaves who have had to deal with the ramifications of an ancient magic war and more recent political, territorial conflicts. The series focuses primarily on the realm known as the Union, as well as the Northmen, and the conflicts between the Gurkish Empire and the control of the city of Dagaska. The decisions they have to make, and how, depending on perspective, all decisions can be viewed as selfish, tyrannical, or plain out evil. You will feel these characters and love them. You may even agree with what each of them are doing, although it tends to be in conflict with what our other cast members may be doing at that time, and it's a great dynamic. Although the books are very grounded in terms of political, social relations, and combat, magic was once a significant force within this realm. However, it now seems to be fading. So much so that the typical occupants of the world no longer believe in its power or existence. The story of magic's failing begins millennia before the introductions within the book. The first law's history tells us Eos, the father of the Magi, took up arms, fought back against the demons ravaging the world. Eos eventually sundered the demonic threat and banished them from the world to the other side. This left humans to become the rulers of Ring of the World. In the following days, he would grant gifts to his eldest sons, who would become known as the Magi and the masters of the three pure disciplines of magic. They were known as Juvens, Canadius, Badesh, and Glustrad. And then, with that, Eos left them to bring order to the world. We continue to see that though the Magi were tasked with restoring balance, it did not end wars ravaging this world. All was not peaceful between the brothers as well. As the story continues to unravel through the novels, we learn of the conflicts that happened, leading up to the current timeline and how it plays out moving forward up to the currently published series. The cycle of hatred and fear circle this world, and as it would appear, the laws set by the fathers of the Magi are slowly being broken. History repeats itself. Brother fights brother, as Juvens fought Glustrad. As Canadius fought Juvens, so Bias struggles with Kalul. Smaller men in bigger world, but with no less hatred and no mercy. Will this sordid rivalry end, even as well as the others, or will it be worse? This was a quick introduction to the Ring of the World, where the first Law series takes place. I really love this series, and I'm about to start book 3, finishing the first trilogy. There are still new novels being written in this realm, and I highly recommend checking them out. There's some really solid comic tie-ins as well, and I would hate myself for not mentioning how amazing the audiobook is for this series. It's honestly top tier, and I feel like you're missing out if you don't take a listen. It's honestly top tier, and I beyond recommend it. I think this is the first of a series of videos where we will begin to flesh out the first Law world, Ring of the World. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my first Law review. Also, please like and subscribe for more book reviews and dives in the worlds of gaming, comics, manga. Thanks again for watching, and as always, have a good one.